Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes we hold so much inside that we forget just how much we're actually capable of? Gohan spent his whole life hearing he was special, that he had a hidden power, that one day, when he truly needed it, he would awaken. But you know what nobody tells you? That having potential means nothing if you don't know how to access it. And worse, when you're too kind, when you hate conflict, when all you want is peace, that strength becomes a prison. You know it exists. You feel it burning deep in your chest, but you can't touch it, because to touch it, you need to feel something you've spent your entire life avoiding: anger. And that's exactly what Android 16 understood in that moment. It wasn't Goku, it wasn't Piccolo, it wasn't Vegeta. It was a machine, a being created to destroy, who chose to protect. A warrior who never wanted to fight, but in the end, gave his life to teach a lesson no one else could teach. Let's rewind a bit. Cell was dominating. That macabre tournament he created wasn't just a display of power. It was humiliation. He wanted Earth to feel despair before dying, and it was working. Goku fought with everything he had, and it wasn't enough. Vegeta was crushed by his own pride. The Z fighters had no way out, and Gohan was paralyzed, not by fear, by something far worse, by kindness. He looked at Cell and saw destruction, saw evil, saw everything that should awaken fury in anyone. But Gohan wasn't just anyone. He was the boy who cried when he saw animals suffering, who hated training because he didn't want to hurt anyone, who dreamed of being a scholar, not a warrior. Violence wasn't natural to him, it was a wound. Cell noticed this, and like any intelligent villain, he decided to exploit that weakness. If Gohan wasn't going to release his power willingly, then he would force him. He created the Cell Juniors, those disgusting little creatures that started massacring all of Gohan's friends one by one. Krillin getting beaten, Yamcha on the ground, Tien bleeding, Piccolo, the mentor, the father Gohan chose, being destroyed right in front of him. And still, Gohan didn't explode. You know why? Because his anger wasn't simple. It wasn't just, "I'm furious." It was anger mixed with guilt, with shame, with fear of himself. Gohan was afraid of his own monster. He knew that if he let that loose, there was no going back, and part of him would rather die than become something he wouldn't recognize. That's where Android 16 comes in. Think about it with me. Of all the characters who could have made Gohan awaken, why him? An android, a machine, someone who theoretically shouldn't feel anything. But 16 did feel. In a different way, maybe, but he felt. He loved nature. He protected birds. He chose not to kill Goku, even though he was programmed to do it. Android 16 was living proof that even beings created for destruction can choose peace. And that's exactly why his words carried so much weight. When Cell held 16's head, when everyone knew what was about to happen, the android didn't beg for his life. He looked at Gohan, straight in the eyes, and said something that changed everything. He said it was okay, that Gohan didn't need to be afraid, that protecting the people he loved wasn't violence, it was love, that his anger wasn't a monster, it was a tool, and that sometimes, to preserve peace, you need to fight for it. Release your anger, Gohan. It wasn't a scream, it wasn't a command, it was permission. Permission to feel, permission to be human, permission to use that strength he had kept locked away his whole life because he thought it was wrong. And then Cell crushed 16's head. The silence that followed was deafening. The camera focused on Gohan's face, and for the first time, we saw something different in his eyes. It wasn't fear, it wasn't sadness, it was clarity. That explosion of Kai wasn't just power, it was liberation. Years of trauma, of guilt, of holding back, of trying to be the good little boy everyone expected. It all exploded together. Super Saiyan 2 wasn't born from rage. It was born from acceptance. Gohan finally allowed himself to be who he truly was. And Cell, who seconds before was toying with everyone, suddenly wasn't laughing anymore. This scene works on so many levels it's hard to even explain. On the surface level, it's an epic anime moment. The hero awakening his ultimate power, the turning point. But it goes deeper. It's about how we deal with our own strengths. How many times have you held yourself back? How many times did you have something to say, something to do, something to change, but stayed quiet because you were afraid of how people would see you? Gohan is that, amplified. He had the power to save the world inside him and couldn't access it because he thought it would make him a monster. And Android 16 showed him the truth. Sometimes the greatest kindness is having the courage to act, even when it hurts, even when it's scary, even when it means accepting a part of yourself you've always rejected. There's another layer, too. The fact that it's 16 delivering this message isn't a coincidence. Toriyama knew what he was doing. An artificial being teaching a living being what it means to be human. A warrior who chose peace, teaching another warrior that peace sometimes needs to be defended with strength. It's narrative poetry, and the execution? Flawless. The soundtrack building, the wind stopping, the rocks starting to levitate. That scream that wasn't from pain, it was from birth. Gohan wasn't dying there. He was being reborn as someone complete. The Cell Juniors who were destroying everyone, eliminated in seconds. No mercy, no hesitation, because Gohan finally understood. Mercy isn't letting evil win. Mercy is protecting those who can't protect themselves, even if it means getting your hands dirty. Cell tried everything after that, increased his power, used every trick, but it didn't matter, because it wasn't a fight of strength against strength anymore. It was consequence. It was karma. It was the universe collecting the debt from someone who spent too long playing with things he shouldn't have. And it all started with an android who loved birds, asking a boy who hated violence to accept who he really was. Dragon Ball Z has hundreds of fights, dozens of transformations, countless epic moments. But this one is different, because it's not just about power. It's about permission, about accepting the parts of yourself you hid because you thought they were wrong, about understanding that strength isn't the opposite of kindness. Sometimes, it's the ultimate expression of it. Gohan didn't become a monster when he turned Super Saiyan 2. He became complete. And you? What are you holding inside that the world needs to see?